You're listening to Rappahannock Radio. This program is supported in part by a grant from the Claudia Mitchell Fund. Views and opinions expressed in the following interview do not represent Rappahannock Association for Arts and Community or its board. Well, let's introduce you. Let's give you an official introduction. Mo Safren?
Yes.
Okay. Short for Morris?
That's correct, yes.
Why did you drop the Riss?
It's a funny story. Kindergarten, my teacher's name was Mrs. Morris, and I was made fun of, and I needed a new nickname. So I think it was my mom who said, okay, we'll start calling you Mo.
Way back then.
Yeah, it's like 5 years old, yeah.
Does anybody try and call you Morris?
Yeah, a lot of people call me Morris. Most of the people that are close to me call me Morris.
Do you have a middle name?
Yes.
Can we ask about your middle name?
Yes, Yutz, Y-U-T-Z. Jewish roots.
Okay.
Morris Yutz Safren, and I believe Yutz was Polish or Russian, and it was Yutzkov, and it was shortened. When my ancestors moved to the States, they shortened it to Yutz.
Okay, so you know a little bit of the etymology of that. That's pretty cool. What is the meaning?
Do not know that answer.
All right, cool. Well, it sounds cool. So you're quite the accomplished musician. First of all, I want to say I really enjoyed watching your Saffron Sunday concert series. You've done 22.
Yes, Safren Sunday covers.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I ended up doing a cover every Sunday, and I got up to 22, and I stopped for a while. I'm working on an album and some other things, but I want to dub that season 1, and I do want to start it up again soon, and so season 2 on the way soon.
Love it. Where did that idea come from? Was that sort of just to get you through COVID, like with the, everything was kind of shut down and you still wanted to have a presence, or you wanted to do it anyways?
Yeah, just kind of wanted to do it, make myself accountable, like consistency, just posting something at least once a week. But as far as COVID, I never really was affected by that. I was able to find some places that booked me. I was out in Colorado for a while, and it was all outside. It was all socially distanced.
That's great.
And yeah, so I really never stopped performing live. So yeah, the reason I did Safren Sunday covers was just kind of to get some consistency going on my social medias.
So would you say that that's a good window into your influences? I mean, you're kind of, there's a wide variety of songs that you choose to cover. I mean, you're anything from, I really loved, and I shared it last night on Rappahannock Radio Facebook page, but the Glass Animals cover, I especially like that one. Well, I like all the different locations that you have for the different concerts, especially the one over the ocean. When you first start singing and the water actually starts moving, looks forward towards the camera.
That was the one with the two other guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was cool.
Chrisfield, Maryland.
Okay. Yeah, I liked that live on the dock by the sea.
Sorry to interrupt. Quick story.
Go ahead.
That same dock, Casey Musgraves played on.
And weren't you covering a Casey Musgraves song?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you plan that? Or did you find that out serendipitously later?
Yeah, I think serendipitously. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, so the Glass Animals one, you're recording in your car. Why did you choose to do that? Just because of the style? You felt like it was going to be...
I was visiting my lady in Colorado, and I was on a hike, and yeah, I had the mobile set up, so I did it in the car.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's how that one
I
worked.
like that. It sort of reminds me, you're like a chef putting the ingredients together. Yes. It was like a perfect tutorial, being like, all right, let's drop this. Did you have to spend a lot of time coming up with how you were so unlike the other covers where you've got your Casio and you've absorbed the music and then you're playing it out through your own well, it's always your own version when it's a cover, right?
Right.
But with this one, since it's electronic and you were creating the beats, creating the pad, you know, that float pad or whatever, the synth going on there, did you spend a lot of time analyzing that before you did it? Or you just kind of was like, boom, you know?
Boom. Because I've been doing music almost a little over 10 years now. I started my freshman year of college at Shenandoah University, and that's how I originally started making music, like through GarageBand,
Okay.
laying down chords, electronic, adding beats. So that comes
That's your
natural.
first genre.
That's, yeah. I didn't really start playing live until about 3 years ago, consistently.
Okay.
And that was a conscious decision of mine to really get out there and pretty much prove to myself that I was a real musician. And it's amazing the progress I've made in the last 3 years, just looking back when I really first start diving in, performing live. Like, I've just come a long way. But yeah, so when it comes to producing songs like that electronically, it actually comes very easily to me just because I have so much experience producing like that process. Yeah.
So you went to Shenandoah
Yes.
in Winchester,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's, you went there for music, or you discovered while you were there that that's what you wanted to major in?
Coming out of high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had a few basketball scholarships, but they were all schools in West Virginia, and I visited them, and they were just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Couldn't see myself doing it, and I was considering doing music as well. I auditioned at JMU and Shenandoah, and Shenandoah accepted me first, and the basketball coach was looking at me as well, so I decided to go there to play basketball and do the music.
Do you still play basketball?
No. I shot the other day for the first time, probably over a year.
So the music outshined.
Yeah, and I
basketball.
only ended up playing a year and a half in college just because being in the conservatory was just too overwhelming. I think I was one of 2 or 3 people in the entire school that did the conservatory and a sport.
Wow.
But yeah, I ended up just quitting basketball and focusing on the music, and that was really tough. One of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make.
Why is that?
Just because basketball was my entire life up to that point. Sports, where it was like my whole childhood.
So you kind of had to reimagine your image.
Pretty much, yeah.
How did that go?
It was tough. It was definitely an adjustment. Few years it took to adjust. But that's when I really started discovering my musical talents and just diving into the whole music scene. And yeah, here I am today, still doing music.
So you said that you applied to JMU and you applied to Shenandoah. When you applied, you were basically going in with the basketball. I guess what my question is, so as someone who doesn't have a formal music training, I wanted to know what that process is like. So did you apply to the conservatory for music? Or you just kind of like slip in with the how did that work?
Well, I had to audition for the conservatory.
Okay.
So I auditioned.
Did you play an original?
I did, yeah. I had to have a couple classical pieces memorized, so I played that, and then I ended it with an original song, and it was very jazzy, and that's what I was auditioning for, jazz piano. And I think that's what got me in, because one of the professors, he saw something in me, and I didn't know what I was playing at the time. Now I know.
Okay.
It was just a bunch of seventh chords and jazzy.
You're like, this sounds good. I like
exactly.
it, and just go for it.
Yeah.
Well,
And then basketball, I was being recruited my senior year in high school by the Shenandoah coach. So that just kind of happened naturally. I told him, yeah, I'm coming to Shenandoah to play. Yeah.
Why did you choose Shenandoah over JMU?
For basketball, because
It was the better program?
Well, it was Division III.
Okay.
I had a better chance of playing. Probably could have.
I don't know anything about basketball. So
There's a chance I could have walked on at JMU. That's Division I.
Okay.
But yeah, just Shenandoah, I was being promised playing time, so I went there.
Yeah. Definitely want to go with that.
Yeah.
So ultimately, when you decided to make that jump and you felt like you couldn't do both, well, first of all, why did you feel like you couldn't do both?
It was just too much. And conservatory classes would intertwine with basketball practice. So I was actually coming late to basketball practice, and that wasn't a good look for the coach, and it just was not working out.
So what about music is it why do you love music?
It's always been a natural gift. I have a good ear. Piano was the first instrument I ever really played. And I could just kind of pick it up naturally, hear something on the radio and play it back. And I got more into it over the years. I took a jazz improv class in high school that really sparked my interest even more for music. And then my freshman year in college, that's when I learned how to produce, and that really kind of changed the game.
Yeah.
And then after I started producing, I started singing, and eventually found my voice. And I love playing. I love spreading love through music. What keeps me going is playing live and connecting with the audience and inspiring people, making them feel something.
Yeah, when you have that person come up to you afterwards and they're like, that just, totally describes what I'm going through, and it just struck such a note, literally.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I always said I wanted to be a doctor. And now I think music is one of the best medicines.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm almost like a doctor. I'm healing.
Yeah, it
people.
is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's a lot more involved with health than just what you physically intake and what you physically do. Right. I mean, there's a lot of mental components, and I mean, I'm going to argue also spiritual components, and
sure.
Music is all three of those actually overlapping. So that's excellent. Do you want to play us a song? Do you want to start off with something that you've already recorded, or do you have your Casio? You brought that. So what song are you going to play for us this afternoon?
It's called Tell Me Lover. It is on my new album, Into the Abyss is the name of the album.
Love the name.
And this song is actually already released. I released it July of 2020. And yeah, this is Tell Me Lover. I want you to know that I love you. I love you so. 'Cause you let me roam. And you're always there when I get home. Tell me, lover, what you're doing now. Are you looking out a window? Are you walking
crowd. Well, I hope you're safe. Hope you're safe and sound. 'Cause I love you and I like having you around. When the wind is blowing loud and it blows the candles out, I will take you in my arms and I will hold you. I will hold you. Tell me, lover, what you're doing now. Are you looking out a window? Are you walking in the crowd? Well, I hope you're safe. Hope you're safe and sound. 'Cause I love you and I like having you around. Tell me, lover, tell me where to go. 'Cause I love you. That's what I wanted you to know.
Thank you so much for sharing that live. That was very powerful, very evocative. How long did it take you to write that?
That one came... Started with the melody, then the harmony, piano came, then the lyrics took a few weeks. This one, every song is different. I would say a few months, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your process like?
Process is different for every song.
That's fair.
This one was late night studio, just vibing out, and that melody came into my head. I want you to know. And then I was able to find the piano for that real quickly. Piano's off. So yeah, that I was able to find that pretty quickly, and then the lyrics was just took a few weeks. Just what did I want to say in the song?
Did you happen to? So was your girl in Colorado at that time? Because it has a very traveling style. Like I feel like I'm on a train or just like not driving, but I'm in a car watching, the scenery go by and just, very pensive, but, you're expecting to get, you're excited to get to where you're going and like you're looking for. Sure, I'm just curious if you wrote it like while you were driving.
I did not. I did write it in Virginia. She was in Colorado at the time. We're doing the long distance thing right now. And then I actually recorded the vocals in Colorado.
Oh, cool.
I needed the vibes of the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
She has a nice window in the living room. I look right out at this Buffalo Mountains and Dillon, Colorado in the mountains. So that gave me inspiration to do a solid vocal take.
So mystical, the mountains out there. I mean, all mountains are, but like those are just, they're so much higher on the skyline, obviously, than they are around here. Like these look like hills, like the Blue Ridge Hills compared to that. And you're just like, whoa, step into Tolkien or something.
Blue Ridge Mountains are beautiful, not to be slept on, but the Rocky Mountains are just hard to compete with.
Yeah, they're pretty stunning.
Amazing, yeah.
Excellent. So you got to do a lot of gigs out there. You got to book. That's kind of a nice in for you, you know, across the country.
Yes. And yeah, I was welcomed with open arms in Colorado. And yeah, the brewery scene, bunch of breweries out in Colorado. I did play at a winery in Bailey, Colorado. And yeah, I love the people, love the energy, love the scenery. And I actually have a few gigs booked for July this summer.
Excellent.
So I'm excited to get back out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a quick shout out to one of my favorite places to play at, Tommy Knockers. It's do you know what a Tommy Knocker is?
No, I don't. Please explain.
It's like American folklore, and like when the miners were mining in a cave,
Okay.
they would supposedly hear a knock, and that was the Tommy Knocker, quote unquote, warning them that they need to get out right now because the cave was about to collapse.
Oh, that's
really
dark.
It was literally probably just like the wood braces starting to crack, but I guess it would sound like a knock, and they call it a Tommy Knocker. But it's a brewery in one of my favorite towns, mountain towns, Idaho Springs. It was the first gold mining town in Colorado during the gold rush, and it's just a total vibe. I was playing there one time, and a real mountain man started walking down the main street with a mule.
Oh, wow.
And it was just quite a bizarre scene to see. But good people, good beer, good vibes, and I'm playing there this summer, so excited to be back there.
Excellent. So you're from Culpeper originally?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Did you have formal training with the piano growing up?
I did. I started out just playing by ear, listening to songs on the radio, playing them back on piano. Then my parents eventually put me into lessons. So I did lessons for about 3 years, and then I stopped. And then preparing for my audition for college, I got back into the lessons with my old piano teacher for about a year.
Gotta brush up real quick.
Pretty much just to prepare the audition. And then so that was it. And then obviously I did 3.5 years at Shenandoah, and yeah. So
What kind of not that you can cover 3 years in this, short episode, but what kind of stuff did you learn? Like what was your real takeaway from that experience at Shenandoah with music?
Connections. I still work with a few friends I made at Shenandoah. Actually, Alex Salser is a brilliant guitar player. He's in this band from DC, Oh He Dead. Oh He Dead.
Oh, I saw that sticker.
Yes.
In the background of when you were singing the David Gray, the Babylon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of their stickers. Yeah. They're amazing. They really had a lot of momentum going before coronavirus. But then their tour got canceled, but they're getting things going again. But he actually is playing guitar on a couple of the songs on my new album, Into the Abyss. So there's a few other people I've still kept in touch with. But other than connections, I would say just basic music theory. Like I remember I took a theory class and I failed it. A lot of people failed it the first test. And then by the end of the class, you take the test and you're just blown away. Like, how did I miss these simple questions? But
it's very mathematical.
yes, it is. And I've always been into math, so
Then that's perfect.
I feel like that's why I love music too, because it's a lot of math, a lot of patterns.
So can you accurately describe to people the circle of fifths and have them understand it? And that's probably like a really basic one, right? But like to me, I feel like my dad tried to explain that to me so many times when I was a little kid, and then I think I finally got it. Just he drew me like the actual wheel.
Yeah, I don't know if I could explain it to someone But yeah, it's just the relationship.
I'm not testing you right now.
It feels like a test.
It's one of the things that for me, so I can sight read, but I can't technically sight read, as in like you couldn't, like I could sit there and figure it out after a while, but like you can't put a sheet of music in front of me and I'm just going to play it right off the bat. Like Same. You can do,
no,
you can't?
I can't do that, no. Put chords in front of me. I can read chords. I mean, I can sight read, very slow at it, but being in the jazz program, I did take some classical classes as well, and I played Chopin. I would always pick Chopin. I just resonated with him the most. But for the most part, I didn't really have to read too much, and it was, the real book, the fake book in jazz. It's just chords.
What's the real book, the fake book? Explain
it's just a book of jazz standards. It's like widely known in the jazz community. Just jazz standard songs.
So when people say jazz, do you go to, like, in your mind, like Miles Davis, Coltrane, or is it also, I mean, because then there's a whole other, like, jazz is such a wide.
Yeah, I'm still learning jazz.
Okay.
I'm almost ashamed to say that I feel like I don't know a lot of it. But to me, jazz is just like improv and having conversations with music, with other musicians. I play with a drummer, and we've really built a chemistry over the last 3 years, and it's really just feeling each other and doing things off the top, not planned, improv, and it all coming together, and it's so fun. That's what I call jazz.
Yeah, that's I feel like it can get a lot of flack, at least in my experience with it. So my background with my dad is more rock, folk, sort of a little bit of country, rockabilly. But when we started the band, which you probably heard some of the tracks before when you said you'd heard early Rappahannock radio episodes, when we played in the band that we created, Silver and Moonlight, the drummer's background and the woman who played the keys, they are really into the type of jazz like what you're talking about. And I feel like it can get a little hectic, and I like that aspect of it, but a lot of people can't handle, I guess, the multiplicity of voices kind of happening at once with the different lines of songs. Do you feel like that's just part of jazz that some people just don't get?
Yeah, it's a huge learning curve, and again, like, I'm still learning, and I still have a lot to learn. I hope I can master it one day, but I definitely got a long way to go. But it's overwhelming, and there's a huge learning curve.
Who are some of your favorite jazz musicians, or some of your idols?
I don't know too many jazz musicians, but like I like the 50s vibe, which I think a lot of people consider that jazzy. So I'm really into Sinatra, Rat Pack.
See, I was going to mention that earlier when you think about jazz, because you can go Sinatra, or you can go totally opposite end of the spectrum, still within jazz, and do like the Coltrane Sun Ra trip. Yeah,
and I'll listen to that every once in a while. Coltrane, Davis, but yeah,
Frank Sinatra. My husband is a huge Frank Sinatra fan. He absolutely loves Frank. One of my favorite Frank songs, actually, it was playing a couple days after our son was born, and it was just the most it's the one he sings with his daughter.
Oh, wow. Nancy, I think is her name.
Yeah, Nancy Sinatra, right? Yeah. She did all the, Summer Wine and Boots Are Made for Walking and stuff, but it's the one that's like, and then I go and say something stupid like, I love you. And I was just like crying. And it's so powerful.
I love it. I think it's the best music. I don't think
it's hard to mess with Frankie.
genre. Yeah, you can turn them on anywhere, and I think it'll go over well with any crowd.
Yeah.
It's just the songs. The songs were so good because I don't think he wrote many songs, if any.
I don't know.
I just know he was able to get a hold of some of the best written songs by songwriters, and then he would just deliver it the way it was supposed to be delivered. But that's what made that style of music so intriguing to me, and why I think it's the best. The songs were just so good. They had meaning. They tell stories. And then the musical instrumentation, the horns, the strings, like he was playing with big bands. And
yeah, that's always exciting.
You just don't see that. I mean, there's
a huge budget for that.
Yeah, exactly. That has a lot to do with it too.
So eventually you want to play with an orchestra.
That would be a dream. I mean, there's not many people doing it. First name that comes to mind is Michael Bublé.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's kind of carrying on that Sinatra vibe. Josh Groban was for a while, but he's more like classical. But other than like those two names, I can't really think of anyone else like doing that Sinatra.
Just name Frank Sinatra. That's all you have to.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin.
Yeah. Dean Martin.
I love Dean Martin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really like Frank Sinatra's song, like, his Final Curtain song. It's so epic.
I'll sing it right now if you want me to.
I can't. We can only sing, like, you can sing it for me and I'll turn off the recording, okay. But I don't have, I think you saw like the BMI ASCAP.
Oh, okay. Right.
For one thing, it's for an individual running, like, if I had a big company, then I could definitely do the fees that are for it. But like right now, well, the other thing with podcasting and doing it on your own as an individual, the laws are really like gray right now. Like the music laws haven't quite caught up to where we are and everyone doing podcasting. So even if I was to pay like the thousands and thousands of dollars that it is to have, you would have to have all three, the CSAC, BMI, and ASCAP, I still wouldn't be guaranteed that we wouldn't have somebody, from Frankie's company be like, you guys owe us.
The scary side of the music industry.
It is scary. How do you feel about that aspect of music and covers? And I mean, I know you can't play in a lot of, I often get called to do gigs at, not Ducard, at Magnolia when their license expires for that time of the year. Because they're like, you can carry an original set, like, we don't have it right now, so we need somebody who can do that. How do you feel about what's going on with music?
I've only ran into a couple establishments that told me I couldn't play covers, which I'm happy to play an original set. I have plenty of material.
It's like a musician's dream. You're like, all right, no covers, perfect.
Right, yeah.
Usually it's the opposite. They're like, we need to pack people in. You gotta sing Journey and Foreigner and have people sing along while they're drunk.
Exactly.
Which who doesn't want to do that? But I mean,
yeah. But I've never had any issues performing live. Again, I've been doing it a little over 3 years now. But yeah, I guess it's a good thing though, because they're looking out for the artists.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're covered in that aspect.
Yeah.
But I also feel like they're not looking out for you at the same time. I think you could be getting a lot more money from your actual. I think there should be something set up, but I don't think that what we have right now is the answer necessarily.
Yeah, live is always tricky. That's tricky to enforce. But I have seen some changes with like produced music. You're streaming, putting songs online. I go through DistroKid distribution, and if like I do have some covers on Spotify, a little mixtape.
So how are you covered for that?
Yeah, so they ask you. They ask you, is this a cover when you upload the song? And I say yes. And every stream, that artist or whoever has the rights to that song is getting a percentage of that stream.
I wonder if DistroKid has something for me to investigate, has something set up for like podcasts where I could partner with it. Because that's the other thing that I was looking for at the beginning of starting Rappahannock Radio was, is there like, an umbrella company that I can just pay them and, then they can make sure all the boxes are checked and I'm good.
Right.
So basically I've just steered clear of it because I don't want.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about that, but I don't.
Well, when you find out someone who does.
Right, yeah, I got you.
Send them my way. Do you want to play another song on the Casio, or do you want to talk about a song that you've recorded?
You can, I sent you some songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play one of those.
Okay. What about, what is it? Make sure I've got the Autumn Leaves.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, what's that one?
This was my, I would call it first album. I made a lot of music. I think I was counting the other day, and this album I'm going to release, Into the Abyss, I think it's like 18 or 19 projects, albums, whatever you want to call them. But this one was, Autumn Leaves was on Decent Rhythm, which was kind of like, I would consider my first real album.
You say that with such a tone.
Yeah, it's just...
and then the fact that it's called Decent Rhythm and the way you said it,
well, albums aren't albums anymore. It's just, music is just different now. It's singles, streaming.
How do you feel about that? What do you mean when you say it?
It is what it is. It's just, the industry's changing, but I still like to make cohesive...
A concept.
Yeah, concept that you can listen all the way through, and there's kind of like a story to that.
Right.
But yeah, Decent Rhythm, first album, 2016 I released it, and Autumn Leaves was definitely one of the favorites on it. And I shot a little video to it in downtown Culpeper. And how this song was made, there's a jazz standard called Autumn Leaves. Mm-hmm. It was one of the first songs I ever played at Shenandoah, and I took those chords pretty much, made them into my own, and took the concept of Autumn Leaves and made it into a song, made it my own, and it's yeah, go ahead and play it.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
They got me strutting down the sidewalk. They got me gazing at the daytime's moon, kicking rocks and lost in thought. Must be something in the tree. It's gotta be them autumn. Then I bump into a stranger, and he smiles and says to me, hey, did you know with just a little breeze they can make it peaceful in these streets? And isn't that what we need? I'm talking about them autumn leaves. Senses. They got me shouting, listen please. Hey, did you know with just a little breeze they can make it peaceful in these streets? And isn't that what we need? I'm talking about them autumn leaves. I'm talking about them autumn leaves. Step, step. I'm talking about them autumn leaves. So won't you take a step outside and breathe it in before you go? Don't wanna get left behind. You gotta catch this ride, because you got to see these autumn leaves. You gotta see these autumn leaves. Yeah, oh. So let me see your autumn leaves. So let me see your autumn leaves. So let me see your autumn leaves. Let me see your autumn leaves. Your autumn leaves.
The high notes that you hit in that song.
Yeah, ended on the falsetto.
I feel like something about hearing a male vocalist hit that, it's very satisfying.
Nice.
So I appreciate that aspect of, I can hear your want for the orchestra in that song, your desire to have the orchestra there.
Yeah.
So how do you sample stuff basically to
Well,
to
I
make up
wouldn't
for that, or
say sample, but
what do you call it?
I play it through the keyboard, so MIDI.
Okay.
I play it through MIDI. And yeah, I mean, it would be great to have a real horn player, real string player.
It's hard to get good brass around here. Nobody really plays.
Yes, that's true. Although I did find a good brass player for my new album, Into the Abyss.
Congratulations. Where's the name for that album come from? What's the story behind that?
There's a song called Into the Abyss on the album, and it's just kind of wrapping up how I feel about the state of the world. And
deep. Yeah.
it's
So
deep. It's deep. Yeah. Like, I just released a house song too. I make some house music, and that one's called Where Do We Go?
Yeah.
That's the only line I say in the whole song. Where do we go? With all things going on in the world right now, just no one really knows where we're headed. I don't know where we're headed.
Yeah. Hopefully someplace good.
Hopefully someplace good. My job is to spread love through music, so that's what I'll do my part and continue to do that.
I think that that's a very, very important role, and we need that. And like you said, I agree with you completely. When music is healing,
absolutely.
And I think that is the way. I think people, in my last interview, the guys that I was interviewing were talking about, they were like, if we could just get everybody dancing.
Yes.
Which I know is the classic, like, hippie peace and love, but I mean, I think it's like, get up off that thing and dance and you'll feel better. Like,
so I said music is the best medicine. I might have to take that back and say dancing is the best medicine.
But you need music.
That's
to
true.
Dance.
There's something about dancing.
And you're dancing in that song. You're like, step, 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 step,
yeah.
step, step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay. So I had asked you earlier about some of your influences, and you mentioned Frankie. I do hear a lot of the David Gray with your singing stage. Does he inspire you as a vocalist? Like, more so with the vocals than with...
I wouldn't say he's a big inspiration, but I do get him all the time.
Is that annoying to you?
No, not at all, because I do like his music. I love his music.
Are you a fan of Train?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I mean, yeah, they had some classics in the 90s. Yeah. I play Drops of Jupiter sometimes.
I was going to say would be perfect for your genre style.
But yeah, David Gray, love his music. I get compared to him all the time. Wouldn't say he's an inspiration though. Sinatra, definitely oldies. Motown, soul. Stevie Wonder, Bill Withers. Those are two huge names I've been inspired by. And then newer artists. Mike Posner was a big inspiration. Yeah, he's currently hiking Mount Everest. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he'll put his singing lungs to the test.
Yeah, he's out there for sure, but
is that something you would? I mean, you're an avid.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah.
I would.
Would you go to Everest and?
I would do it. Yeah, obviously I'd need the training first, but I did my first 14er in Colorado last summer, so
okay.
There's like 30 or 40 of those in Colorado, 14,000 feet in the air. So I'll do a couple more of those, but maybe one day Mount Everest. But Mike Posner, he started releasing music at Duke University, just like doing covers, and just his production style and the way he sang. It was fun, like super creative sounds, and that he was one of my inspirations. But most of my inspirations are definitely oldie people, 70s, 60s. I do like the 80s and 90s were great music too. So I'm all over the place. I love country music, love blues.
That's good.
Love EDM. I definitely got into the whole electronic scene when that started becoming mainstream, like 15 years ago now. Yeah. But I
and
love,
as a producer too, I mean, you're close to that.
Yeah, because I love dynamics. I think that's what makes my music stand out. I try to emphasize dynamics and creating atmospheres, and that's what electronic music, the build-ups. That's what makes electronic music, the build-ups and building all that tension, and then the drop. It's just there's no feeling like it. Zed Clarity, that song, 2010, I think, or 11. That was song great. Genius build up, genius drop.
Do you produce for other people?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have your own studio?
I do.
We should have done this at your place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just basic setup pretty much.
Yeah.
I like to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's more for music and producing. It's more about just capturing the energy,
the essence,
capturing the essence. So even if you have the most basic equipment, iPhone recorder, you can capture the energy, and people will listen to that.
Yeah.
Quality helps for sure, but the capturing the essence of the song is the most important.
Did you ever experience, so you talked about finding your voice. And you've only been playing out for a relatively short amount of time in comparison to how long you've been producing and practicing music, writing music. Have you experienced stage fright?
Yes, I definitely have. And I've had some very embarrassing performances. But I think what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I think every artist has to, if they really want it, they have to at some point experience that humility.
Yeah.
And I tried to perform a dance song to the wrong crowd one time, and the sound system was not good, and it was just super embarrassing.
Oh no.
But
how did you handle it? Were you just like,
I walked out and never stepped foot in that place again. No, that's not true, but I did walk out. I just had to get out of the room. Like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. But yeah, and
it wasn't your song. It wasn't your
It was my song. Okay.
That makes it even harder, because I think it's hard enough. I think it's hard to be a performer. I think it's hard to be an original performer.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's even harder, because your heart is literally, bare for the world to be like, I didn't really feel it. Like,
right. And stage fright, yeah. I mean, I always get butterflies, and even growing up playing sports before every game.
But that's part of why you love it, right?
Yeah. It's just natural. I get nervous, butterflies, it's good. But then once the game starts, or once you just start getting in the groove, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm in my zone now. But yeah, that's why I stay consistent performing live though, because I have this philosophy. If you're always playing, you're always ready. So you don't have to prepare. Like, say I do get an opportunity to play in front of thousands of people. I would feel pretty confident going into it right now, just because I've been so consistent performing live. And
that's excellent.
I still get butterflies, but I'm just like, I'm almost numb to it, because I know this is what I do.
Do you want to do that? Is that your goal? Do you want to, like, are you aiming for the big time?
Yes.
Okay.
Every song I make, I envision it being performed in a stadium, in an arena.
With like the whole shebang, the whole light show, everything. That's pretty exciting.
I mean, lights are a plus, but that's
well, I mean, I feel like
me.
A stadium, like there's so much more with the atmosphere than just the performer. Like, you know, people are going out, like and especially now, right? Like, I'll leave my house. Like,
yes.
like, you know, it has to be a huge production, and hopefully you can get your orchestra. And the way you said that, I know, you know, nobody could see your eyes, but like you were like, I saw the athlete for a second. It was
right.
like, yes, this is the goal.
Yeah,
we will,
absolutely.
The team will succeed.
That would be a dream. I played in one festival ever, but it was super early. I was the first slot, like 7 a.m. and everyone was still sleeping and hungover from the night before, because the sets went to like 4 a.m.
You're like, wake up.
So yeah, but I did like see people coming out of their tents, because my music, so this was like electronic, and I did play a couple electronic songs, but I dabbled in the piano stuff, so it was a good good music to wake up to in the morning. So that was cool. But yeah, that is the dream, playing in a big arena.
Do you feel like at some point you're going to have to move to accomplish that?
Possibly, yeah.
Like, you would definitely go to Cali over
I've been
New York?
I lived in LA for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were pushing the music at that point too?
Yes, but it was really, I was just out there, really no plans, just wanted to experience New York or LA, and I liked LA better. I just felt like I had to be there if I wanted to be in the music industry. And I was really working in studios, working with a lot of hip-hop artists. I did play a few shows out there. But
so you were doing production? Yeah. Okay.
Just really trying to get my foot in the door anywhere. But I did 2 years out there, and then just moved back to there was no grounding.
Almost
out
sounds
there.
like you're like in prison. You're like, I did 2 years.
Did 2 years.
2 years in LA. Like,
at
LA's
times,
a little soul crushing, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it'll test you for sure. Especially living the starving artist life like I was. So it'll test you, but again, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So
I don't know. Can we say that right now?
Probably not. Yeah, no, probably not the
I don't think you can officially say that, but I hear where you're coming from.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So then you don't actually feel like you're going to need to make a move to have that happen?
Just with the way the industry's going, I don't know. Maybe if I need to move with a team, and maybe like the people I'm working with are in that area, then yeah. But right now, I just feel like as long as I'm staying busy performing live and continuing to get better, more exposure, gigs, shows, eventually I'll get my shot, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely feel like, I don't know. It's hard. It's there are a lot of people out there that are very talented and never get to the level that they would like to get to, or even that they deserve to get to. Mm-hmm. I think.
I've thought about that too, and I've pretty much accepted it. And my philosophy is, as long as I'm playing, because that's what I love to do. Yeah. And even if it's in front of a few people, I like playing in front of people. Yeah. But as long as I'm playing,
that's definitely the more, producing and then performing, the more not that it's super lucrative, but the more lucrative way to go rather than just staying in the studio and recording, which is a vital part of that. But I mean, it is still hard to make a living. I mean, do you feel like it's hard to make a living off of what you're doing? You have it pretty down pat. Like,
yeah,
you book like what, in December for the whole rest of the year, or just as you go or something? How does that work?
Kind of as I go. Sometimes I plan ahead for the year. Like this year, I have gigs booked to the end of the year, pretty much. And that's how I make my money with music, live shows. I do want to get an online presence going and start getting an income from online. Considered starting a Patreon. I thought about that too. Yeah, I might be doing that soon. And then just like building up my, marketing. It's kind of part of the game now. Well,
you've got some pretty professional looking photos out right now. Yeah. So that helps, right? I mean, the website is like very,
I'm very
super
happy
blitzed
with
out.
my website right now. Yes,
and blue is definitely seems to be your color. So the blue suit, very professional, very jazz-esque as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's play another song.
Let's do it.
So we've got... What about Lost in Forever? Tell me about Lost in Forever.
This is another house song. I mentioned I released Where Do We Go? That's a house song. I'm going to follow it up with this. Probably within the next week, I'll release it. I just shot a video to it yesterday in DC.
Oh, that's what you were doing. Okay.
Yeah. I had some dancers. There's this like dancing circle in the Georgetown waterfront. And let me also add that it was a beautiful day and people were out. People were out in DC, and it was so nice to see. Like, the energy was amazing.
Some culture happening, some people actually getting together again.
Absolutely. So this is just another house song. You mentioned getting people to dance. I might release a little dance EP before the Into the Abyss album, just to get people dancing.
Yeah.
So I'm on the same page with you there. I think dancing's great for the mind, body, and soul, and this is more like jumping, dancing,
aerobic.
Yes, aerobic. Yes, like work out to these songs.
All right.
Run, bike.
All right.
There's something in the air tonight. Your energy feels just right. You're beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful. You're easy on the eye. I don't want this moment to die. We can make it last all night. Loving this life, can't let it pass us by. I don't want this moment to die. So high, feels just right. Just let the beat ride. Yeah, I don't want this moment to die. can't let it pass us by. And I don't want this moment to die. So high, feels just right. Just let the beat ride. Yeah, I don't want this moment to die. Moment, moment, this moment, 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 this
So where do you feel like the overlap between house and jazz stands for you personally?
I guess the whole working with another musician and just feeding off each other's energy. With that last house song you just played, that was made with DC-based DJ Late London. And we...
So you've worked with that DJ before in the past? You guys, did you go to school together?
No, just met through mutual friends, and we've been working a little over 2 years together.
So if someone goes to one of your gigs and they see, or do you call them gigs or you call them shows? What do you prefer? Performances. Okay. Someone goes to one of your performances and they see you vibing out on the Casio. Like, do you include your house songs live? I guess how would they know by some of your styles? Like,
right.
Like if you were doing house, how would someone know, hey, this guy's also a jazz guy, or vice versa?
Right. And I have not performed these house songs. Sometimes I'll just throw it on in between sets.
Okay, yeah.
Just to see how people react. But that is one of my goals for this year. Once things open up, I want to, since I have some DJ friends that play in all these clubs in DC, I want to jump on and perform, do a set in the club with these house songs. So, yeah, when you see me live, typically it's me behind the piano doing what I do best. But when it comes to house music, I love making it. It's fun. I love to dance. I love to get the people moving. And there's just a certain energy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's a little bit of an alternate ego from each other?
Absolutely. Oh,
That's
yeah.
part of the mystery, right? You're like,
Oh, yeah.
Would you have a DJ name?
Oh, I don't know. I have a lot of nicknames, but DJ Yutz.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Pull out
That
the
makes-
middle name.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. Absolutely. All right, we're gonna play Right Around.
Okay, Right Around the Bend.
Right Around the Bend.
Okay, should I talk about it before you play it?
Yeah. What's just Right Around the Bend?
Right Around the Bend. This was made a couple years ago. I wrote it in a cabin in West Virginia, and it is just about a song. It's a song about knowing there's something better around the bend. So keeping that hope alive, and you could be living down in the dumps, feeling super low, but there's always something better around the bend.
Yeah, and it's important to be grateful
Absolutely.
for what you have. And I don't like to say the thing where people are like, it could always be worse. I don't really subscribe to thinking in the negative like that, even though it's supposed to be a positive. But yeah, I think Right Around the Bend is definitely the positive flip on that. I like that.
For sure.
All right.
Got my boots on, got the fire burning, cold beer in a lawn chair. I've been waiting for such a long, long time, for this feeling the geese are flying over. The creek is flowing slower, the fire is burning, glowing, keeping me warm. Twirling, the trees are dancing and swirling. I know that you're right around the bend. 'Cause if I only had someone to make me glad, I'd be dancing, dancing, dancing with the trees, the trees, the trees. So I guess I'll sit and listen to the music as I wait a little longer for you to show up in my life, my life, my life, my life. See the geese are flying over, the creek is flowing slower, the fire is burning, glowing, keeping me warm. Twirling, the trees are dancing and swirling. I know that you're right around the bend. 'Cause if I only had someone to make me glad, I'd be dancing, 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 dancing. Fire's burning, glowing, keeping happily twirling. The trees are dancing and swirling. Happiness is right around a bend.
So you mentioned earlier that you like to record in as little takes as possible.
Yeah. And you mentioned that's kind of a jazzy thing.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. Yeah, try to get it done in one take so the energy is cohesive.
Yeah. Because so many times it just takes something away from your original performance.
And you mentioned if you do it too much, you're in the studio just cranking out take after take, you can lose the feeling. But then on the other end, I've heard friends, musicians working in Nashville with some like top engineers, and they'll just put you to work, like record one line 50 times, and that can almost like push you to reach another level.
Right. And as an athlete, I'm sure you can definitely subscribe to that in some shape or form. I think, maybe to drive you to the point of insanity where something else comes out, like where something comes out of you that you didn't even realize was there, because you're just like, fine, I am so done with whatever is going on right now. I'm just going to go and just sing it and not even care.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah. But so with your, but you really do like to center yourself and then just go for it rather than beating yourself over the head with multiple takes.
Well, and the circumstances I'm under, I really don't have that person that's really pushing me and is established in the industry. So I just do what I know how to do. And usually the less takes, the better. Yeah. I would say. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I really, really have enjoyed having you come on the show today. And it's just such a privilege to be able to spend, a short period of time with an artist that I feel like you just have your priorities together as an artist. you want to, make music for yourself and for the world. And, it would be nice for you to get the recognition that you deserve for it. And that's really all that you're asking for. You're not like, yep, I'm going to make it to this and then sell out. It's like, no, I want a bigger forum so I can continue to spread love.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. And thank you for having me on the podcast. Is this the podcast?
Well, not technically, because I'm thinking about going through iTunes. But right now it's just on my website, on Rappahannock Radio. Yeah, it's the only host for it. But thank you for asking.
Yes. Well, thank you again for having me. And
let's play another song. You want to take us out with a song?
Let's do it. Okay. This is one of the songs off Into the Abyss. It's called Wings on Fire.
You could see it in her eyes, you could hear it when she cries. She's seen a shooting star, but the wish went to Mars. She keeps collecting miles, searching for a smile. Traveling in sorrow, she believes in tomorrow. Stuck on cloud 8, gets harder to elevate when you're flying with your wings on fire. Born an angel, but time made you faithless, searching for a high, take her higher. Her wings are on fire. Take her higher. Her wings are on fire. The media reports, they say she's falling short. Running from the past leaves her with remorse. stuck on cloud 8 gets harder to elevate when you're flying with your wings on fire. Born an angel, but time made you faithless, searching for a high, oh take her higher. Her wings are on fire. Oh take her higher. Her wings are on fire. Wings are on fire. Wings are on fire. Her wings are on fire.